the diagnosis. The S.C.O.R.E model is not much of an intervention tool. Intervention, what I mean by intervention is that it's a prescription. Intervention, you are prescribing the medicine. But the S.C.O.R.E model rather actually works like a diagnosis tool. In fact, this S.C.O.R.E model by itself, right, actually came through the modeling process. Remember we talked about NLP came out through this concept called modeling. Then over the years, we came out with different kind of frameworks, right, to help people to solve problems faster. Now, S.C.O.R.E model is one of them. And the purpose of the S.C.O.R.E model, in fact, how was S.C.O.R.E model, how did it originate, right? It originated by accident. You know, back then, there was one developer of NLP. His name was Robert Dilts. Okay, also one person who has contributed, he did major contribution to the growth of NLP, besides Richard Bandler and John Grinder. So when Robert Dilts came along, and he and one of his, if I'm not wrong, the name is Todd Epstein. So both of them, they were working with a group of students, and they were like training them to become also very good practitioners of NLP. But then they realized something interesting. After some time, right, they realized that they were able to get results far much faster, far more effective than many of their students, many of their peers. And then that led to Robert Dilts asking himself, hey, am I doing something that I'm not aware of? Remember, what is that? That's called unconscious competence. But am I doing something that I do not know I'm doing? Well, that was where Robert Dilts started reflecting, hey, is there a framework I can develop to help these people, my students, to master, right, the ability to coach someone, to counsel someone more effectively? And that was where the S.C.O.R.E model came to life. Now, what's the S.C.O.R.E model? The S.C.O.R.E model basically is a diagnosis tool where we are able to look at a problem from an overview, like a bird's eye view. And it breaks a problem down into 5 main components. What are the 5 components? The S represents what?
Symptoms.
Yeah, symptoms. The C, the cause. The O, outcomes. R, resources. And E, the effects. Okay, so what are these 5 things? Now, what they realized was that by understanding what are the 5 components, right, to a problem that a person is facing, whether it's using it for business, whether you're using it for coaching or counseling, right, you're able to see the problem more effectively because you're really understanding what's going on, right? Not just at the fruits, but at the roots. Remember we mentioned about the tree? Right? So we're going to go back to this concept again and again. And so what the S.C.O.R.E model does is that we don't just look at the fruits. Let's say a fruit is rotten, and you go out there and say that, okay, there's a problem right here. We try to solve the problem at the fruits. No. The S.C.O.R.E model wants to look at the entire situation. It wants to understand what is the problem here. What is the problem here? The roots. The roots represent the what? The cause. This one?
Effects.
Underscore, what do you think it is? Symptoms, yes. That's why you realize that many times when you look at someone's problem, right, you're looking at what? The symptoms. Because the symptoms that is usually visible to us. But the cause usually is invisible. Then what else? Of course you need to know then what do you need to do, right, to change the situation. That is the what? The resources. And then of course, you don't just stop there. You want to ask yourself, okay, if right now the fruit is rotten, how can I turn it what? Back to normal, right? I want to grow better fruits. That will be your what?
Outcome.
Yeah, outcomes as well can be found here. Then of course, if you look at your greater outcome, this will eventually lead to some what? Effects. Simple, right? Very powerful, but so simple, but yet so powerful. And in fact, if you take a closer look at the S.C.O.R.E model, you also notice something. Can the S.C.O.R.E model be aligned in what I call a timeline?
Yes.
How does it happen? Which do you think is the first that happens?
It's a sequence of events. It starts with the cause.
Yes, it always happens with the cause. You're right. After the cause, what happens?
Look at the symptom.
Yes, the symptoms. Then
The resources.
the resources.
Then outcome.
Yeah, actually resource. Okay, resources actually I will put it outside. Okay, outcomes. Then
Effect.
you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe I need you to take one and answer.
Correct.
Correct. Why correct, Barbara? Why outcomes come before effects? Why outcome come before? Why not effects first? Okay. Trick question. We must have the outcome first, right? You must know what is it, then it gives you the effect.
Yeah.
Make sense so far?
Yeah.
So then of course resources, why I put, usually I like to put it outside because resources is what we say, the overview. After I look at the symptoms, cause, outcome, effect, then I look at, okay, what are the resources I need to solve the